everybody. My name is Kristen Siliberto, and welcome to Scribe Talks. I'm your host, and today I'm with the one and only Tim Myles. He is an actor and director, and today we're going to be speaking with him as an artist and as a director and his latest work, where he got to premiere his film Little Bird at the Toronto International Film Festival. So I want to welcome the one and only Tim Myles. Welcome to the show.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having me.
It really is an honor to speak with you today. So let's just jump in and get to let audiences know you as an artist. So what made you want to get involved in the film industry? Because you have a wide variety of background. When I was doing my research on you, you've done so many different types of things. So if you could give the audience a little info on why you wanted to get started in that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my first love was acting always. I've wanted to be an actor since I was a kid. Just like a classic actor story, like nothing, I feel like everyone's always like, oh, I've known since I was a child and all that. So I'm just adding to that. But I've wanted to be an actor my whole life. And when I was 17, I landed a role in like an indie feature.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of gave my parents the confidence to let me go and to kind of let me go on this path. So I did the feature, and then I did a pilot, and then after the pilot they were like, okay, we know you're really serious about it, because before that, it was just drama school and drama in high school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So then they finally let me move to Toronto to do film, to attend an acting school, Toronto Film School.
Okay. Why Toronto specifically? Was there something special there?
Well, I'm Canadian.
Okay.
I'm from Newfoundland.
Okay.
So it's a small little island, for those who don't know Newfoundland. Small little island on the very east coast of Canada, the most
Okay.
easterly point. And so I mean, New York was also a big one for me. I've always wanted to, I guess NYU Tisch, everything like that.
Yeah.
But that was kind of a little bit more out of the realm of possibility for me at the time. 18-year-old Canadian, had come from a town of 500 people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I graduated high school with 17 kids.
That's
uh,
amazing. I always love
yeah
hearing
yeah
stories about that where like they only graduated with like 10. That's like amazing to
yeah
me.
yeah, it's weird. It's like it seems like such another life ago now, because I've lived in Toronto for almost 10 years. But yeah, it was just a huge culture shock. So to me, Toronto at the time was my version of LA or my version of New York. Like Toronto was just as big. And I mean,
Yeah.
it is a great city. It has a lot
It
to
is a
offer.
really nice city. It's like on my bucket list to visit because I hear so many people love traveling there. It's a great tourist destination, and a lot of productions film up there, a lot of the film stuff. Like, have you stumbled across that in your journey as a filmmaker?
Yeah, absolutely. I just did Rabbit Hole, that show with Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm on an episode of Rabbit Hole.
Oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, it'll be coming out. I don't know if the episode's out yet or not, but yeah, so I did Rabbit Hole. That was a big one that came. Um what other ones? There was um oh god, there's another one that I just did. It was a day. Oh, actually, I don't know if I can say that. Never mind.
Yeah, no worries, no worries, no worries.
Yeah,
I understand how actors have to be and keep the hush hush. No worries.
yeah, it was a big one. It wasn't even from the States, actually. It was from Europe that came. But
Oh,
anyways,
interesting.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, I don't. I should shut up. But but yeah, no. So Toronto was. I went to acting school here in Toronto. Toronto Film School, acting for film and television and theater. Uh, but when I was in film school, when I was in acting school, our thesis project was to write, direct, and act in our own short film. So we had to work with the other people from the different programs, like the production program, the writers program. Well, not the writers program, we had to write it. But anyway, that journey of me making my own short, my own thesis film at film school kind of made me realize that I actually really like writing and directing as well. And then after film school, I was lucky enough to do like small music videos, which led to music videos for clients from like Universal Music, Island Records, It just kept the momentum going and just kind of built a bigger clientele with those companies. So then acting kind of was on the back burner for a little bit and around like the 2016 to 2019 era. And then I was focusing on directing. And then I signed with a new agent. And I've just kind of fallen back in love with acting again. So I'm
Oh,
kind of just like balancing it all, I guess.
yeah, it's a balancing act for you right now.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like sometimes I don't like it's just annoying writing it out. Like I'm an actor, writer, and director because I feel like people
Yeah,
automatically are like, okay, you don't work at all. You know what I mean? Like that is the kind of like people who are like, I'm an actor, writer, director, producer, editor, like transport.
the Renaissance man of it all on the resume.
Yeah, yeah. It kind of like is like, okay, well, pick a lane, bro. But I mean that's my own like inner saboteur talking also. But yeah. I think um yeah, does I think that answers it? I don't know. I just
Yeah,
went
I
off.
know you were really great at answering that question. And then
Okay.
let's move on to my next question. Do you have a particular film or filmmakers that inspire you as an artist when you're working on your works?
Yes, you wouldn't say it from Little Bird because Little Bird was very
It's a personal
uh
story, and we'll get to
it's a
that
person.
later.
Yeah, but I really love Yorgos.
Oh, he's great. He's one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I just think he's amazing. Like I just love his like sense of humor with like these beautiful like dark visuals and these dark stories, but they have this like weird twisted like tongue-in-cheek kind of sense of humor that I really like. Um
Do you have a favorite of his? Like, if you could pick one of your favorites from Yorgos, which would it
it would
be?
be the favorite.
That's
Is it?
it.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Virtual high fives, because that is like we are friends for love in that movie. Oh,
Oh my
Olivia
God.
Colman.
She slayed. She slayed. She deserves every bit of recognition she got. That was a
Mm-hmm.
fantastic performance.
Oh, I love that. Who else?
Who else? I really love I weirdly enough, I not weirdly enough, that's not weird at all. But I got I was never because I was an actor, I was never really like a film kid. So I
Mm-hmm.
always felt but I surround myself with film kids. Like a lot of my friends are really like they know a lot about film.
Mm-hmm.
Um I back in 2013 when I was just start gonna move to Toronto, I saw The Bling Ring, Sofia Coppola.
Oh my gosh, I love that movie too.
Oh, it's amazing. It became my personality for like for like the month like or like for longer than a month actually. But I was like freshly 19, I believe, and I saw this like it was just like good. Like it was just
It
like
was so
witty.
good.
Yeah. Like I just love like a lot of like I love when like young people are like just stealing shit and being little assholes. You know what I mean? Like I
Yeah,
just think
and
it's
the
so
great
good.
part is that film really captures a time and culture because it
Yes.
sounds like we're about the same age from
Yeah.
because I was only about I think I was like between 16 17 when that came out.
Yeah.
So I read the book that came out by Nancy Jo Sales, and I
Yeah.
was just like so invested with the whole thing. And Sophia Coppola just always nails it with her style and
Oh,
signature. She's just and Emma Watson in that film is like that's my favorite performance she's ever done.
you're stressing me out when
Yes!
she has yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
She
Oh
goes
my
to
god.
talk to Mark's dad or whatever, and she like hides the cigarette behind the fur vest. I'm like, that is everything.
Not many people know this, but like when that was like also like being filmed at the same time, Austin Butler was also in a film that was like about the bling ring.
Yes, it was like the Lifetime
It
version or
was
something,
a
wasn't it?
Lifetime movie, and people are
Yes.
shocked to know that. And I'm like, yeah, it was a
Yeah.
Lifetime movie. This was like the Renaissance before he was like Academy Award nominee, Austin Butler.
Yes, before he was Elvis himself.
Yes. All right. So you had mentioned you directed some music videos, and I thought that was really interesting because it's very common to see that from time to time, like David Fincher, Spike Jones, Mark Webb, McGee have all like, famous directors who have worked on music videos. What do you love about directing music videos?
Ooh, great question. I think it's a really great medium to like get your more visual thoughts out there, not thoughts, like visual ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I always think of stories visually first. Like I like they kind of come to me in like images. um And I really just enjoyed like if you're lucky enough to get paired with an artist who kind of lets you have creative freedom. And I mean, obviously the artist should be very involved. It's their brand, it's their music video.
Right.
But when you have that like mutual understanding of trust, I think is like that's what I really like because I think I'm a more visual filmmaker. I really um kind of see it more through a not a cinematographer's lens because I don't know enough about like
Like a
lighting and stuff.
storyboard lens, like where you had to like map
Yeah,
it out. Yeah.
yeah, very much that I see it before like I but yeah, so I feel like music videos is a really great outlet for me to kind of get the more visual work out there and have fun with it. Like that's the good thing about music videos is you can just like go nuts. Um
Mm-hmm.
you kind of have that creative freedom. I mean, and I find labels are, I don't know if I get in trouble for saying this, but I think like music labels are a little more, give you a little more freedom than clients for commercials. Client for commercials kind of, you know, keep you in a tight rope, keep you in a
Yeah.
tight on a tightrope, but music videos is kind of a real good like just freedom of expression, and it's all about just like what the music means to you or what you and it can be interpreted so many different ways. So that's kind of what I really like about it. It's just creating like yeah, just expressing the freedom. You really get to like express your artist in music videos.
Yeah. I saw your director's reel for and you featured like all the music videos you have worked on. If you could recommend though our viewers one music video to check out, which one would it be?
Um
Like that's your favorite that you worked on for you.
my favorite. I did one for this artist. His name was he's an indigenous artist from Canada. His name is Drives the Common Man. He's also on TikTok.
Okay.
We did this video called Annie.
Okay.
It was I think it was yeah, it's the most recent one that I've done. It's it's about the I came up with this idea, or he wanted to do this idea, sorry, of kind of like a Greece almost, but
Oh, cool.
told through like a native um lens. So I kind of went off of that and had this idea of this like lonely, not lonely, but this young diner waitress who's like stuck on the late shift while all her friends are out partying. So her friends try to get her to come out, and she's like, "No, I have to work this overnight," and she kind of gets lost in her she gets lost in this like dream world of listening to her favorite
Oh,
artist. Yeah, so it's like she like imagines this whole thing where she's dancing with him and they're singing the song together. That was a really fun one.
that
I got
sounds
to do.
fun.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot. Um yeah, also I did one for Rev. She's a Canadian artist. It
Oh,
was called
okay.
Tongue. It was really cool. It was like a bisexual coming out anthem. It's like a queer cocktail party. That one was really fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
amazing. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Now, do you because I know you were only directed one short film, but
Yeah.
compared to working on the short film that you worked on, do you like directing your short film or music videos more? What is one thing?
Narrative will always have my heart, I think. Like
Narrative.
yeah, yeah, my scripts, my like my films, they'll always like be my babies.
Mm-hmm. They're your
Working on
hard work. That's why,
yeah, and I think the good thing about it is especially being like a young like or not young but like newer up and coming kind of person, you really have creative freedom with what you write. And what you want to tell, and I think that's like your first couple projects are really a great way for people to get to know who you are as a filmmaker. um so I think that's kind of I really want my voice to be heard through that medium.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that answer.
Yeah.
Can you discuss your process for creating Little Bird? Because that's your short film that we were just previously talking about.
Yeah.
You worked very hard on it. I thought it was great. I thought it was emotional, and it's a very personal story.
Mhm.
So, can you discuss the process of creating Little Bird? Because I know you mentioned you worked on it for film school or acting school, but if you can go in a little bit more detail of that.
Yeah, so Little Bird is semi-autobiographical story. I lost my mom. She passed away back in
Oh,
2013. So when I was
oh,
yeah, when I was 18, 19. And then right after she passed away, I moved to Toronto to be an actor, to be a filmmaker. And throughout that time, I kind of always felt that I kind of like pushed it away or like didn't really grieve properly because I was like thrust into this like new world, and I dissociate, like I have problems with dissociation, so I kind of
Mhm.
like use that as a coping mechanism. And then when the pandemic hit in 2020, I think that was the first time when I was just like sitting there. My roommate was in her at her parents' place like up north, and I wasn't nothing was open or flights weren't going, so I couldn't go back
Yeah.
to Newfoundland with my family. So I was sitting alone in my Toronto apartment, and that was kind of the first time that I was like, oh, I started to think about her, and I started to think about what the last 6 years were of like me living here, uh and being like, oh my god, like I really don't have her anymore and all that. So I think that kind of made me sit down and write Little Bird. It was like an ode to her. It was an homage to her, to my Indigenous heritage. My mother were Mi'kmaq from Conn River, Mi'kmaq First Nation in Newfoundland. Uh, so I grew up around my non-native side of the family. So, but she was always very much uh trying to keep reminding me of who I was and where we come from, and keeping the culture close. So it was kind of that was kind of an homage to her. I wanted to like put in the like our culture.
Yeah, I could
um
see that from the personal touches, especially in the beginning of the film.
yeah, we shot up on a Saugeen First Nation, this reserve in Ontario, Canada, and I wanted to use like local, um just local people from the res and just get them get representation. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I thought, yeah, so Little Bird was very much an homage to that, to my mom, to the heritage. And um yeah, I feel like it was good. It was like cathartic, it was healing, uh it was good. It's not really the direction that I am continuing to go in.
Mhm.
I'm more going into like dark comedies, more stylistic type of um storytelling. But that one was an important one for me to kind of get out. It was kind of just like a love letter to her and just how I was feeling at the time. But yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I just love that. I thought it was very beautiful when you dedicated to her at the end, because when I was like
Yeah.
doing, like, again, I was doing my research on you, and I know you shared about that on your Instagram, and then I watched the film and I was like, okay, this is definitely a love letter to your mom, and it's very sweet, and I loved that because
Thank you.
I love to recognize the moms. They're the people who raised us, and
Yeah, the
I thought
matriarch.
it was great. It really was. So I also liked you made it a life lesson of not grieving alone. So
Yes.
that was the big takeaway from the film, and especially for a short film that captures it in that 12 minutes. Not many directors can do that with their message, and you were able to deliver that perfectly, what you
Thank
wanted
you.
to say from just an audience film critiques perspective. So I loved that. So uh knowing that your film was chosen for TIFF, I thought that's like a huge accomplishment and achievement for any director, actor working. What was it like being part of that huge festival?
A dream, literally a dream come true. I TIFF was always a goal for me, continues to be, for when I move into the feature. But um it was it was good, but there was also some bittersweet moments because we did premiere during COVID. We
Yeah.
premiered back in 21. So things were starting to turn like to come down a little bit. But we were lucky enough to get one in-person screening. So they gave us an in-person screening for just the Toronto
Oh, that's nice.
teams. Yeah, and then so the Toronto teams got to have their in-person. But it's funny because I get invited to more events during TIFF now than I
Oh,
did when I actually was
yeah.
premiered, because there was no TIFF, or no what TIFF is back to what it used to be. Um yeah, so there now it's kind of it's nice that they're involving the filmmakers who had to premiere during COVID. But that being said, it was really nice. My family came from Newfoundland because the airports were open.
Yeah.
So yeah, my family came, and a lot of my friends who worked on the film got to come. We had some great screenings, got to do a talk, and it was good. It
Oh,
was special. I look forward to hopefully premiering there again one day when COVID isn't a thing at all and I
Yeah.
get to have the full experience, because I think, the networking is huge for continuing. Usually, your first festival and your short, you go and you try to market the feature and you try to build connections, and we couldn't do any of that at the time, so I'm kind of making up for lost time now.
Hmm.
um but yeah, it was good. It was fantastic, and I'm very honored to have been chosen at all to be in a great festival.
Oh, amazing. And I like the fact that your family also got to attend, and I'm
Mhm.
sure they got to see the reaction of knowing that you dedicated it to your mom. What did your family think? I'm sure they were just as emotional as you were, correct?
Oh yeah. Yeah, they were I don't it's not often I see my dad cry. And my dad was like bawling.
Oh,
Because he lost his wife, and that
yeah.
is just as hard. And then my aunt, who was my mom's only surviving sister, because my uncle actually passed away of the same thing that my mom passed away from. They had
Oh,
both had polycystic kidney disease.
oh,
And so my aunt is my mom's only surviving sibling. My aunt was actually the one who gave my mom her kidney, so it was like
oh,
very nice. And my aunt was actually there when we were shooting Little Bird. She played the voice of my mom, so the
oh,
answering machine where it's like, hi, this is John Janelle John, that was my aunt.
oh.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah, so it was good, and she was very emotional to see it. And I called her to tell her I got into TIFF, and she like I had to pull the phone away like this because she was just screaming. We were just
Oh,
screaming together. It was really nice. It was really, really good to have them
oh.
there.
That's really sweet. And
Yeah.
I know you had mentioned, because I know you want to direct more dark comedies, but is there any chance you would wanted to adapt this further as a story and make it a feature film?
Funny, I was asked that a lot. I was asked that quite a few times during TIFF, because I think we have something here called the Talent to Watch program in Toronto, and
Mhm.
it's kind of to give first time filmmakers money to like make their first feature. And I think people thought that that was where it was going to go. It was going to be the short to the feature um route. And I honestly think that I told what the story how I needed to tell it
Mhm.
in the 15 minutes. I think it was like the perfect length for me. And I don't know if I want to. I think, just that was a love letter. And um I just now I'm kind of just honoring my mom, in different ways and more personal ways. And I think I really know how what I wanted, what kind of storyteller I want to be. And um I think I just want to get started on that.
What is the kind of storyteller you want to be? Just going off of that.
Yeah, I love I love just weird. I love making weird shit. I know that sounds like so weird.
No,
Uh,
every artist is different. If you like to
yeah.
create weird stuff,
What's
that's
that
all
Jughead
you.
quote? Like I'm weird. I'm different. I don't fit in that one.
Yeah.
The Cole Sprouse quote. No, but I really like the kind of weird thing to say, but I kind of grew up around a lot of death. I've had a lot of death in my life.
Yeah.
And I was at funerals probably more than I was at birthday parties.
Oh,
So but it kind of, forced you to grow this like thick skin and this kind of uh I don't know, way of looking at the world and way of seeing things. So I like the darkness of that, that it's something that we all share, of like, losing somebody. But then how do you make it, I don't know, how do you make it funny, or how do you make it kind of, how do you bring light to the situation to keep going? Because if you
right.
sit in your sadness all the time, that's not helpful for anyone, especially yourself. So I think it's just like finding joy and finding light in like dark and weird situations is what I kind of want to tell.
I love that. Again, another great answer. So I just
Mhm.
want to wrap this up and just say thank you for your time. It was so lovely to speak with you. I think you gave some really great answers.
Thank you.
And what other things are coming up for you? Do you have anything that's exciting that you're working on?
Yeah, I have a feature right now. It's my debut feature film. It's called I Don't Throw Small Tantrums. And it's
Love the
currently
title.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. I'm very happy with it. So talking to a few producers now and hopefully going into development soon. But yeah, I'm always looking for people to collaborate with and for producers to help me.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing now. And yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, it was so great. I can't wait to see more of your work and more, hopefully, acting roles in the future. I'm going to look out for Rabbit Hole to see if you're in that.
Yeah.
But otherwise, thank you again. Thank you to our Scribe Talk viewers for watching. Thank you again, Tim. It was such a great honor to speak with you today. And we will see you all next time. Head on over to scribe.com for more fun features, videos, and more. Have a good one.